What's up, everybody?
Oh, no.
Welcome to episode 8 of The Overview. I'm ChanManV, and you notice a difference here. I got two co-hosts not here today, but that just means a lot more guests for us today. Fish Sticks and Shade, they're out. Fish Sticks is actually one of the cool kids in
Avoiding
Irvine.
me.
He's one of the cool kids actually in Irvine right now. And then Shade's not feeling too great today. So, I got these three guys here. First off, Jason Kaplan. First time on the show, ESL caster. You might know him from many other things, particularly in League of Legends. How are you doing today, Jason?
Not to be confused with Jeff Kaplan.
Yeah,
first
shut
of all.
up. Shut up.
So it's good to know the actual. My name is Jason in the screen this time. But I'm doing good, doing good. So like 9 p.m. here in Germany, so obviously a little bit later for than you guys, but glad to be here.
No, I appreciate that. I'll never live that down. Of course, returning to the show at least as a guest and not a co-host this time around, Ster. How's it go?
Hi. It's been a while.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Just hanging out. Just
hanging
gonna
out.
talk about Zenyatta for an hour. I imagine.
Let's hope it's not just about Zenyatta for an hour, but a good portion will
Such
be
an
about
attention
Zenyatta.
whore.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, from Team Envious, one of the top teams that we have in NA as well as just overall, Overwatch just generally, from Team Envy.Minstrel. How are you doing, buddy?
Fine. Very excited to be here.
Can we get a different guy?
Go get a different guy.
I might have short
Is
notice.
it too late?
Short notice, yeah. I mean, thanks to all of you guys for coming on. Actually, except for Jason on short notice. He had a lot of juggling this week, but this is going to be awesome. We've got a full show planned for you guys. Going to talk about the animated short to start off with, and then touch on the patch notes, since the patches always seem to come out right after the show ends. So it's been been almost a week, but we haven't talked about it, so might as well cover it. And then we'll go over competitive events and the meta. The meta is the big topic this week, as Zen meta, as Ster was referring to. But let's kick things off. Let's talk about the animated short that debuted yesterday.
Let's get a ranking out of 10. Out of 10,
Oh,
everybody.
out of 10. Okay, all right. What do you guys think? How'd you guys? Well, let me show the audience first the actual animated
No one
short.
wants to.
Nobody-
I don't know if I want.
What? Nobody wants to see the
Video-
thing. What are you talking
Video
about?
was a 10. Realism was like a 3. There's no way Reaper would ever get destroyed by a.
That's so true.
But it was actually really, really well done video. Like I don't really care about the lore of Overwatch, but that video made me care about the lore of Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. How about you, Minstrel?
I just thought the scientist has really creepy looking stubble. It looks like he spends an hour manicuring it every day. He's got like a
That's
perfect
all you got
line.
out of it.
What?
Yeah, that was the main
What
thing I noticed.
What are you looking at?
Dr.
That's so
Winston.
I'm gonna have to rewatch.
I don't know, it just stood out.
close. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it like a 2.
What? You're gonna
No,
give it a?
no, I not a 2, but I want to go. I said this, I think, like one of the last times I was on the show, that
Let me fix this.
nothing happened. What happened in it?
Well,
It's like if you followed the lore and you know like Overwatch, you already knew everything that happened in it. And I had said before that I wished it was a better start, like something new. So I thought it was cool that they were bringing Scientist Guy on, but all he did was give Winston a pair of glasses and.
Well, I mean, I think they're trying to do backstories, right, on
Yeah.
on each of them, and well, this one's a little bit more of a general plus.
Oh my god! Broke my chair.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, that's karma. It's not a 2. The animation was good. It was good. It's just I expected
You,
I don't know
you-
something new that you wouldn't expect to happen.
well, you said
if
to
you
give it a
weren't
rating.
Already
So,
following the lore.
so out of 10, what was it?
I don't know, like a 7. I'll give it a 7.
7. Oh, okay.
I'll give it a 7.
I give it a 9. I agree with the whole Reaper thing. The Winston actually owning Reapers is a little ridiculous for people that actually know the meta and actually play the game.
What about
but-
Reaper teleporting to the top of the stairs and laughing about it? I didn't have to use a single step. I don't know what that was about.
No, well,
There's
you know.
there's the stubble. That's just a good point, Minstrel. I never looked at his stubble before, but it does look really well done.
Actually,
Like
that's on the
in
screen
morning.
right now. Yeah. No, but it's impressive, man. I hope they come out with these pretty frequently, not like once every 3 months or or 6 months or whatever. It'd be awesome if it was a weekly series type of thing.
Oh, that's
Is
that
that too
takes
much?
a long time to produce something
That
like that.
would
I know,
never
I know,
happen.
I know it does, but that's like what
Yeah.
I would like to see at least.
I'm surprised it came out already. I thought they were gonna wait until launch to be like, hey, by the way, watch this.
Maybe they're planning like
it's already out.
some animated long for a launch. Maybe at least 15 minutes of some
I don't know.
footage.
They teased this one months ago, so they would have had to have teased this new one now.
Yeah.
Well, they teased a little
Look at
bit, right?
so look at this.
The Hollywood is
Look at
next
this. He just crawled through the hole in Gibraltar. Why can't we go through the hole in the game?
It's too
Crawl through the
difficult.
Oh my gosh. He just
I don't want to
Can't have any skill-based movement.
Well, the real question is, where does Reaper get his like next pair of shotguns from? Because he has no
I
other
know,
ones on
that-
him, but then they just manifest out of nowhere.
that's always
He
the question.
teleports them in.
He teleports.
You have an answer for everything, Minstrel. You really do.
Why doesn't he just
I'm
teleport
the lore
the
He
expert.
regenerates them.
Why doesn't he just
There
teleport
have
the
to be.
bullets in? Why does he have to waste the gun? I think Star, you brought
That's
this
just
up before.
crazy.
He just like gets
What?
rid of the guns every time he runs out of ammo.
It's for
Yeah.
style points.
He would have to reload. He'd have to bullets. But no, if you can regenerate his whole coat and being, he can regenerate a gun. God, you guys are not lore masters.
All right, so there was actually I don't know if they intentionally did this or not, but they did show like a reel of potentially new characters. Actually, it just went by just now, but I have a screenshot of a bunch of them. So let's take a look at those two. Potential. Do you guys know the lore well enough to know who these potential people might be?
I know everything that there is to know about.
Oh
Overwatch.
yeah, right. Okay, here we go.
I
Let me
think
see.
Honestly,
the only lore that I. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say some of these characters, they look like they're actually modeled and like rendered, and I feel like some of these are just like leftovers from maybe even when the game was Titan. They're just like, we have this guy in armor, just put him
This
in there.
robot-looking
We got a couple of
dude.
things.
Yeah,
I think
It's
this
like
is
if
also
some of them
generic
are-
soldiers.
Yeah.
this guy right here. Yeah, he looks pretty generic.
Like that looks like Reinhardt, the little metal dude. That's probably just a generic one.
The last guy looks generic too. This little red flathead Reinhardt. I don't know what he is. Not the last one, but this one that we're looking at. And then there's like the last three are just generic looking people. Two guys and a girl. So maybe these aren't anything actually, but
I mean, a couple of them do look like they are characters. One of the biggest one would be number 7 on that list. Number 7 and the one that looks kind of almost like number 7, number 4, that everyone has assumed would be Soundquake because he was in the promo. And everyone has been talking about that guy for a long time. I don't know why people think he's Soundquake, other than the fact that he has chest rockets and the kid in the trailer says chest rockets. But it doesn't even look like he has chest rockets. I think it's
Can you
all a bunch of bullpucky.
how can you tell? It shows his head.
It looks like bolts. It doesn't.
Like-
I know, but they
Oh my
show
God.
a bigger version of him in the actual art, and it looks like the same guy.
Oh my god! Look at the last two pictures on this thing. They're showing reflections from Winston's glasses, but I think it's the same as number. Yeah, it says it's the same as number 10 though. But it's just funny. People notice the slightest detail. It's pretty awesome. The number 12 guy looks cool. He's got like an iron chin,
12.
iron jaw. He's got an
Yeah,
iron
that
jaw.
character also is in one of the Overwatch posters, so he's a likely candidate for existing. Also, there hasn't been a lot of like bad guys, and he looks kind of bad. Looks kind of tough there. The like temple piercings. Wouldn't want
So I'm
that.
just thinking what Minstrel said, like his head. Like, how does he get his hair so well cut like that? See, Minstrel, you've turned me for the worst now. I'm just like, look at the weirdest thing.
Wait, how does that number 12 guy get his hair like that?
Yeah.
It's called gel, man. What the fuck? He just shaves the rest
How
of
do you
it.
perfectly shave?
How
like,
did he
I
get
can
his
barely
nose
just
like
tell
that?
Number 8 clearly has the best hair.
Number 8, no god, we're judging people by the hair. Number 11 looks awesome too. Number 8 has the best hair. Okay. All right, I'll give you that. All right, well, there was mention, or there was a post today by the Overwatch team that said the next one is going to be in Hollywood. So it's got to be
I think-
McCree, right?
I think you're making a giant leap that they said the next one would be in Hollywood.
They said
don't think
Hollywood.
that-
Next
that's-
stop Hollywood.
Yeah, but that could mean anything.
What? Like it's going to be in a movie Hollywood? Like I mean, what does that mean then?
I don't know. Hold on.
What else would that mean? Like,
Next stop Hollywood. If they said Hearthstone said I have a cameo in Overwatch, And then Overwatch says next stop Hollywood.
All right,
There's like
all
a Hearthstone tablet in Hollywood. Maybe they just made a really bad joke.
Okay, I guess there is
there's-
some chance of that being a bad joke, but
There's
I
some
interpreted
room
it.
for interpretation, and you just got really excited, and you need to apologize.
There was some Hearthstone in the first anime short as well.
That's
Like
right.
when Winston's watching the news in the beginning, you see like a shaman playing off to the side.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And that
The-
was
the guard.
That
Yeah.
was in,
Cross promo,
was in a
babe.
different place. Maybe that was in Hollywood.
Shut up. Cross promo, man. That's the best thing. Definitely. And we saw a little bit of Hearthstone in this one too. If you guys.
Oh yeah,
Can't see
they had Hearthstone again. It's, every time you play Overwatch, if you aren't reminded that Hearthstone exists, I don't know, man. Something's wrong.
Well, that's I don't know. I think it's smart that they're doing that. Next stop, somebody's gonna be playing Diablo or World of Warcraft. One of the
That'll never
security
happen.
guards. You never know.
That
You
won't
never know.
happen. It's only
Warcraft 3,
Hearthstone
come
that
on.
exists.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
need a teaser to Warcraft 4.
Yeah, totally. No, but one thing I did want to bring up just with this animated short now coming out is the potential for the Overwatch franchise. I think it's got potential to be the biggest one for Blizzard, not just from the standpoint of gaming, but from all types of media. Right? There's talk that I think Medson's working on a comic right now, just the Overwatch comic, and now we're seeing short animations, and why not a movie eventually? Like in years to come. Something better than the World of Warcraft one that's coming up. I mean, I would watch.
You're already upset
I
about
would
it,
watch
and it's
an
not even out.
Overwatch movie way like a million times more than I would
Go
watch
watch
that
Big
World
Hero
War.
6.
Yeah,
Come back.
that's good.
Whoa!
Big Hero
Don't
6
talk
is
shit about
awesome.
Big Hero 6
is
That was
awesome.
a good movie.
What's wrong
I'm
with
not
that?
talking shit. I'm saying just pretend
Okay.
it was Overwatch.
Well, yeah, I would
And
watch that.
He's gonna get a cameo in Overwatch. There's gonna be $1 million deal between companies, and it would be great.
Yeah.
I'd play as Beta Max or whatever his name was, Big Boy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it was.
So, what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think about Overwatch's potential as a huge moneymaker in other media besides gaming?
They announced the comics.
Mhm.
Comics will probably launch sometime around the game launches. Tease those again, animations, everything. People are excited for them.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like what's the reach on these animations? Like, how many people are gonna watch them? Why was it an Xbox exclusive? What was?
Well,
what's up
I
with
think it's
that?
part of like trying to promote the console version, right?
Maybe.
I mean, it came out yesterday. There's 715,000 views on it. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Well, it's not there's not going to be like a big return on investment in a video like that.
Yeah.
I mean, at
It's
least
just-
monetize wise, but in terms of like hype for the game and
Mhm.
everyone loving the video and building up the brand, it's huge for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
But why Xbox?
Yeah, that's the confusing part.
Probably
Like I
because
agree.
Microsoft
like, why,
paid for it.
okay,
I'm
that's
sure they
understandable.
did, but it's still odd. I don't have any like conclusions to draw from it. It's just
well,
odd.
so I mean, where else would you have chosen? I mean, what would you chosen as more logical place? I guess besides just the Blizzard channel.
I thought the most logical place, I guess, is where someone would pay you to put it. But yeah, just put it on the Play
Probably
Overwatch
put it
channel.
on youtube.com/c/overdrive. Probably the Overdrive Adobe is probably the best place for.
Yeah, right.
No, but I mean, I agree. Like, it's a little bit annoying to me to see Xbox pay for the rights for that because it scares me for esports. Like, you look at Evolve, right?
Yeah.
It was a hyped up game. Everyone loved it. Turned out to be a big tank, but it was played mostly competitively on consoles. PlayStation 4, like the World Finals they did for was like I think
They
50,000
had a
or
100K
100,000.
tournament.
Yeah.
On,
And it was played on
the
PlayStation
console.
4. Like, yeah, console esports, I mean, it's a real thing, but I hope Overwatch doesn't do that. I hope it's not like, yeah, look at the new Xbox tournament for $1 million and all the PC players that we had who have
Mhm.
dated back to enemy territory, Shootmania, TF2, you have it. They have to like switch or something like that. I don't know. I really hope that's.
Oh, it better not be on console. I mean, I think the worst case it's going to be just cross-platform, and I mean, I think they've already been talking about that, which I just can't see console folks beating PC folks on a game like Overwatch. That'd be amazing if that
depends.
happened.
Actually, a lot of the recent AAA FPS titles, they have insane aim assist for controller users on PC. So like in Titanfall, you had a whole team just using controllers for the aim assist, which were competitive with like the top
Really?
FPS players. Yeah.
Wow,
Because it's
okay.
literally
Someone
like a free
played
hack.
Titanfall.
Yeah.
That is big news.
Surefour played Titanfall.
Wow.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Man.
Why is he not doing that anymore?
It was too good. He had to move on to
Too good
a
with that
lesser
controller.
game.
I mean, you
Controller.
can finally find a game that you can be #1 in, right? Because it's definitely not gonna be Overwatch. Hey.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding. I'm just
Shots thrown. Shots thrown there. Okay, or shots fired though, not thrown.
Yeah, you
What am I
don't throw
talking about?
shots.
Yeah, you don't throw shots. You fire shots.
kidding. Well, I mean, you can.
You can. They
they're
just
like
don't hurt
trees.
very
Throw
much.
bombs.
They just don't hurt very much. Okay, well, yeah. Anyways, I'm really excited to see some more of these, and hopefully, it's going to be the Hollywood one. I'm still betting it's that one. But let's move on to some patch notes. The patch that happened about 6 days ago, I believe. And this one, why don't we just go through it here? And starting off with, so the melee damage was reduced from 50 to 30, and the cooldown is reduced too. Overall, what do you guys think about this? I mean, obviously, it affects guys like Genji and people that combo melees with just with their attacks. Any
I
thoughts?
think it needed to happen. I think it. I didn't never thought about it really before, but seeing it like being nerfed, it made a lot of sense. I think it stopped them from making moves powerful because then you could combo them. Like it must be like a pain in the ass to balance Genji when you know that he, no matter what you do, he'll always have 50 burst damage.
Okay.
Clearly, I think was designed to reduce the Genji combo burst, but also weakened people like Lucio and Roadhog, who they had their whole melee combo system. So I think it might have been better to just make it specific to certain characters rather than across the board.
That would
That's
be.
a good point.
I guess you could do that. Yeah, it would. It'd be interesting to see them. I don't think I've ever seen them do anything like that before.
I think they clearly want to keep things as consistent as they possibly can. Because then, like, if you really wanted Roadhog to have extra damage, they just change his shotgun instead of having everybody do 50 damage. It's not like you can still melee someone and kill someone. It's still useful. It's not like you're never going to use it ever again. Like you
Yeah.
can still know when you're going to get that final damage that's helpful to kill someone, even on someone like Winston who has all the tick, tick, tick. You know when to punch somebody. So it's not like awful. I think it needed to happen to make it easier for them to balance things.
I just like how it takes away from the anti-fun factor of the game of like a Genji who can easily combo you down from 100 to 0. It's not fun to go up against that. At least this makes Genji's job a little bit harder, but at the same time, well, with a Symmetra and a Zenyatta, Genji's not really that hard to play.
Right. I mean, it felt like this patch was definitely more focused on Genji and trying to fix certain things revolving around Genji, but yeah, there's obviously other things that they could have changed, which we'll get to in a second. All right, Bastion tank mode reduced from 10 to 8. What do you guys think of this? I mean, I definitely have felt like the tank modes have been really, really long in a lot of the pub games I've played, and it's just like, crap, man, I gotta hide forever against this tank.
It didn't need to happen, but I have no complaint. It really did last for a very long time.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like, okay, we'll wait it out, and he just keeps coming at you. Just stop.
And it's
Well,
extremely
competitively,
powerful, too. I mean,
You never really see like a Bastion get to an ultimate in competitive play unless it's like a really good team against an okay team.
you don't
Like,
even
I think
see a
it's Dorado,
Bastion.
like on the high ground.
When do you see a
I mean, you see
Bastion in
once in a-
competitive play right
Well,
now?
Wasn't it what
I mean-
Seagull did it on Dorado
That
a
was-
couple of weeks ago? Because it's
that
like,
was-
all right,
that
well,
was
we
like
can
a
like
joke,
because
though.
in
There you
the
go.
finals this week.
Oh, did they
Yeah,
actually try it?
Seagull's
Okay.
team. Yeah, they tried like Winston, Reinhardt, Bastion stacked on the cart.
Oh, that was like, yeah, the old school style.
But
Didn't
the
work
only
though, right?
person- No.
Of course.
The only person I've seen effectively run Bastion in like a scrim is Surefour, and it was just because eventually you got tank mode in the tank. It does 205 a direct, so you can just like one shot supports if you hit them.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful. Like literally
Yeah.
capping powerful if you're in the right
The damage per second for how many seconds you have was pretty high.
Definitely.
It's definitely not like an overpowered hero, but it feels better that way.
All right, Genji. This is kind of the big one, or I think what they are experimenting with here in terms of the meta. Health increased from 150 to 200. I guess they're just going back on that for now, and then they're trying to reduce the damage instead. So instead of like making him more squishy, they just want him to be able to, I guess, spam less or at least do less damage on his spam. Thoughts on this?
The next patch that happens,
Mm-hmm.
who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe later today, it's gonna get changed again.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think they made this as a like, oh, we expect Genji to stay this way. It's just kind of like, howdy doody. How's he doing?
Well, they stated that it's just an alternative change.
Yeah.
So this, I think they're just trying multiple things and eventually they'll land on one. But
I like it though. Like I like that instead of targeting like his survivability, like they're saying, like they want to make it so he can survive a little bit longer, but doesn't do as much damage.
Mhm.
But like he's not one shotable by like a rocket or something like that that just randomly catches him off guard. But at the same rate, it's not his damage or really survival. It's his survivability innately with his double jump and his dash. Like that's the big problem with him. And if you pair that with the whole symmetries, and yeah, that's where his real trouble comes out. But I like they're experimenting. I mean, I've talked to a couple of players in EU who are saying it's a cancer comp. They hate this. Like this is so bad. But
Too easy.
yeah, exactly. It's a closed beta though, and I think that's what people don't understand. At least some of the competitive players, that it's a closed beta, and they're drastically changing things every week or two, which is really nice to see because they want the game at a good balanced place when it's released, and that's honestly nice to see versus just leaving something really overpowered for months at a time.
yeah, I agree with that. Minstrel, what do you think of this change?
He's less like before. He could one shot, I think, 200 HP people with his combo. So it's a lot better to play support now because you don't get randomly one shot by the Genji combo.
Yeah,
But his ult is buffed by the health increase. So I'd say he's like weaker in general to a small extent, but he's stronger with the ult because it's more tanky now.
yeah. I think generally for me, it's I do like his health increase, and the health increase is problematic because of other things that are involved in the game that might need some changes. But generally with Genji, just making him have to work even harder, and in turn, helping him survive a little bit longer with just his base health, I think is okay from the standpoint of design. But we're going to get to some of these changes with Zen and Symmetra soon here. Hanzo, Scatter Arrow. Yeah, fragments no longer will be calculated as headshots against enemy players. I love this change. That frustrated me a lot, God, before.
I don't think there's anything to say about this
Yeah.
other than people have been waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, definitely good. Nothing like the
So it
random
happened.
headshot, right?
RNG
You can
is
still,
not
like-
esports friend.
Yeah, you can still one-shot people. It's that one arrow that bounces around and you didn't know where it was going to go that doinks someone on the head and does like 1 billion damage that you don't have to worry about anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I don't
So,
think
yeah, great.
any other thoughts on that? It's pretty straightforward. Junkrat. Okay, so switching the tire back to 100 health. This is kind of an
It
example.
used to be 50, not really switching back.
Oh, I guess that's true. It used to be 50, so it's going down to 100.
You fool.
Yeah.
Do you ever play this game?
Yeah. So yeah, back down to 100. I actually like where it's at. I think it's pretty reasonable now. People have gotten very creative on how to get the junk alts into the groups since the change from 50 to 150. So I think right now this is fair in my opinion. What do you guys think?
I'm
I
happy
think-
with it.
Yeah, I think they should adjust the radius and fall off on the tire because at the moment it feels
Yeah.
ridiculously large. Like you can take out a Pharah Mercy combo up in the air, like jumping and blowing up on the ground sometimes. So
Wow. Yeah.
Especially with client side to hit detection too. Like
yeah,
if they haven't jumped up yet, then they can still hit you. But I think it's an interesting change because with 150 health, like yeah, Junkrat does a lot of damage with his ultimate that we can all agree on. But I also like the factor that you could use as a distraction, just like a tracer. You can get into the back lines with it, and the enemy team, they're gonna have to turn and look at it, or they're gonna be absolutely destroyed by it. So take its health down a little bit more means maybe two guys, like the two supports, can hit it and kill it eventually, instead of having to focus on two different sides at the same time and kind of fight a battle that, well, as Germany found out, you can't win.
Yeah. I mean, we still see it a ton. I mean, Junkrat's
Don't know why I
still.
said that actually. That was really. I live in Germany, so it's like kind of standard for me to do that. But you know what I mean? Like fighting multiple angles like that can be really difficult, especially if you're in like a choke point.
It does last a while.
just
So,
10
Yeah, that's
seconds.
true.
Yeah, it does.
I'm
last
still
a while.
happy with it because sometimes I still even feel like I wish I wasn't ulting as Junkrat because I could have been shooting instead. And the whole standing still thing. And I don't know. You're not going to see Junkrat played that much unless he has something that can blow up several people. So
Well, I mean, we've seen him in the
it's
past.
still like the loudest
spamming.
thing in the game, so I think it's avoidable.
It's definitely loud. People have figured out ways to keep, like reduce the sounds
Yeah.
of it, right? And, like
I
running
think,
against
like,
walls
just
and
run
stuff like
into a
that.
wall.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep it.
Well, then fix that, and then I'm fine with it.
All
I
right.
remember
So that
seeing
a
Puppy
tire with a
quite
metal on it grinding against a surface isn't silent.
I remember watching Puppy or Tavik play it quite a bit in
Mm-hmm.
scrims against Envious when it wasn't like a official match or anything. And I remember like one thing he would do is actually jump away and then use it when he can tell the enemy team was about to engage. Because if he could pick off one or two people like at the start of a big fight, then it's a fight you're pretty much gonna have a 64 against, and you
Mm-hmm.
most likely will win. And then he comes back spamming away, but he spams the entire time when you have like a Reinhardt
Yeah.
with a shield walking in. But then again, the current meta doesn't really give you that opportunity much anymore.
I mean, current minute, we're talking like a week. Like about two weeks ago,
Yeah.
we were using Junkrat against everything.
But
and
you can't
it's-
doubt the current meta. That's the problem. Like
yeah.
I've been casting for like 3.5 years now, and like the biggest thing I'll give to a team is if your ability to adapt to the current meta, to patches, to a new person on your team or something like that. Because as you see with Melty, if you guys have been paying attention to the European scene,
they're
they're
gone.
terrible right now.
They're
They haven't
gone,
had
yeah.
as much time to practice, but also
Mhm.
adapting to this current meta is something that they're maybe not as good on. Taimu, he was going to join Reunited, but he doesn't like to play Genji. He can play Genji, but he doesn't like to. So he decided to not join them and is now like being recruited by Gamers too. But adapting, and we're gonna have this probably quite a few times when there's a patch comes out and a team has to adapt to a new style. And that's
Mhm.
why I don't understand why a lot of these pros are complaining. Then again, it's beta, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Well,
I would not be surprised if every single character gets shuffled again.
Yeah.
Just to see like what if, and like none of it's even going to stay that way. So a lot of the stuff that's happening right now is even just kind of
well, it's a little tough too, and
doesn't feel
I-
permanent.
it's tough for the players as well as the designers, because in just the overall meta, of just the esports right now, to even it doesn't even give it time to settle. So it's like I really applaud them for making changes quickly, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't give the players a chance to even try to problem solve. Like they just find the first powerful thing, and then I feel like a lot of the teams are just jumping on the same powerful thing because it's like a week. It's like a week's at a time. I mean, definitely players can figure out things past a week. So right now we're seeing changes so fast that I think that's kind of what we're seeing with the player pool right now, and people complaining and being in that
Well-
mode of fast changes.
The interesting thing about that is that people are finding very quickly what they think is the most powerful thing with each beta change, and that's pretty telling. Like maybe you wouldn't have thought about nerfing blah 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 blah, but then like it just happened to be that week everyone realized it was strong, and it is
Yeah.
kind of helping. I'd imagine to separate things.
Right.
What,
Well-
and like you said, Chen, like there's no incentive for teams to counter a meta. Like the patches happen so often. Is there incentive for you to spend hours at a time figuring out how to counter it for like maybe one tournament win, or just try to outplay the other team with the same comp?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a decision to be made. I mean we'll talk again. We've got some meta talk a little bit later, so let's keep getting through this patch here. All right, May. So endothermic blaster, primary fire, lower time to freeze by 15%, which is pretty cool from the standpoint of
Yes,
being
that's a number.
annoying as hell with May. That's like her most annoying and pretty powerful thing. Secondary fire, they changed this because this was crazy. I mean, she was headshotting and sniping people like crazy. So damage.
I don't feel like anything changed with May that mattered.
Oh.
At long
that.
range, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Like I won't get like randomly one tapped.
That was
range,
always
she's still
annoying.
jumping around like rapid firing people.
So you
I-
think she's secondary firing, just even close range right now?
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
do.
Okay. Cool.
May should be kicked in the face. All right, the amount of times I've been double frozen close range against a May pisses me the hell off. There's no counterplay to that except staying far away, which I guess with the damage fall off the lower fire rate you can
Yeah.
counter. But up close to personal, there's like no one who can 1v1 her. It's ridiculous. She can heal herself. She can wall herself off after she's done healing. She can freeze you
And
so
she
she
has
can kill
more
you. Her
health.
teammate can kill you. Just like go fuck off, May. You're not a place to be
She's- well,
played.
she's-
Like God, she's fun to
she's-
play, but she's frustrating to play against.
Absolutely the best dueling character for sure. Minstrel, what do you think of May's change here?
Well, I think we're the only team which really used her much in an actual tournament prior to this, and it's a big nerf to her individual killing power, but she's better at setting up the team for kills.
Mhm.
So maybe against like the double tracer, can run like two Mei,
yeah.
two Lucio, two McCree, and you just like speed boost after them with the freeze gun while you're throwing flashbangs at them.
Oh, that's
God,
sick.
never see that.
That's
Please
sick.
don't ever
That
do
is
that.
That's
sick.
one of the strats
Holy
I want to
s-
try out.
Oh my gosh.
I
that
would have
be-
forfeited a team if they did
Yeah.
that. I'd be like, no, this
You gotta
team's out.
just-
Not allowed.
Yeah,
I think
because
she has the
then-
same problems that I complain about with Torbjorn, where they gave him like a really powerful gun, even though he feels like as a character you should focus on the turret, because Torbjorn is turret guy. Mei is
And-
like
and
a
health.
support-ish kind of. She's now just like DPS
Everything.
ice gun headshot
Yeah.
people character.
Yeah.
There's already a lot of room for like DPS characters, and I don't think the character with like the wall should get that.
Well, I think she's supposed to be the counter to like the mobile flankers, your tracers and Genjis.
Yeah.
She is, but
So it's-
Stir's actually talking about using secondary fire close range.
No,
I mean,
that's what I mean too.
Surprises me.
The
I-
utility of freezing people is like her zone. She's like a
Mm-hmm.
support kind of utility, not just the secondary fire where you one shot a tracer and you just keep firing them. That's the ridiculous part still.
Well, she's got like 70% fall off now, though. So
Yeah, but still,
if, when you're shooting close
no,
range,
you don't
it
think
doesn't
it's
matter.
crazy.
I think, to be honest, the real power of Mei hasn't been really found too much yet. Like, the ability to change the battlefield you're playing on
Mhm.
or the war zone is ridiculous. Like shielding, if it's Zenyatta, like for instance, I just saw Siegel today just realized that a Winston shield stops Zenyatta healing. If
Yep.
Zenyatta's on the other
Yep.
side of the shield, he can't heal you. So Winston
that's
shielding
Lucio's
or the
healing.
wall, yeah, as well, AoE healing in general. Like a wall can change a fight completely, especially with the current comp. You can block a Zenyatta off while you kill off their tank or something. The problem is you've got Genji who climb over the wall. Tracer will be fast enough to get around the wall. So it's good in theory. Like I can think
It's
back
hard
to
to
League of Legends,
execute.
but I'm not sure you guys will get the references. But you're
Mm.
changing the battlefield, and that does give you a slight advantage. Like if you have a wall come up in front of you and you're trying to charge in, like against the Lucio team trying to speed you in or something, it's a complete shut off, and it makes you like go back and say like, well, crap, now we have to wait for cooldowns again or something.
No, absolutely, and I think that's one of the things that I know players have been talking about too. Just using the wall against just more wall comps against the current meta. It's just so hard to execute versus just playing the same one against them, right?
Yeah.
And
I
we
think
kind
they
of talked about
drop
it.
the wall when if you like place it incorrectly, you can't drop it, so you could like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just kill your whole team.
Right.
I think the health of it maybe needs to be lowered a little bit. I don't know how much it absorbs, but I think it's more than a Winston shield, if I
It's
remember
like
correctly.
irrelevant
is
how
about
much
1,000.
it is.
It's a
Yeah,
lot.
Because
It's
no one
like-
ever shoots it down.
people just
Wait,
sit there
did
and
I
wait. I don't know why people
It
don't shoot
lasts
it.
4.5
That's
seconds.
kinda what I mean.
So no one ever bothers to shoot it.
I feel like it should maybe focused on how good her wall and support is. Like, should you lower the health of it, or should you lower her damage so it's like one or the other? She never seemed like a damage output character to me.
Yeah.
That's where she's been.
Well, that's
being
the
pushed towards.
problem is you class her like she's classed as defensive character, but so's
Mhm.
or defensive hero, but so's Junkrat, and Junkrat does ridiculous damage. His utility isn't that present unless you think back to putting a trap down the enemy team. You'll hope will walk over, and then you can kill that person like a tank. But
Yeah, that's a little
like, she's
different.
way more
though.
utility based, but she's still in the defensive tree.
Yeah. Well, Junk's a little. I mean, Junk is. It's a
You're
lot about
right.
spamming though, right? So it's. May is that secondary fire is skill shot, so I think that damage needs to go down even further. Like like Ster, you said that her weakness should be from afar, and that
I
should
did
continue.
like the lower fire rate as well. It kind of got
Yeah,
to
it
the
helps
point where
too.
you just you mash the button and you're like, I'll get him. Don't worry, I'll get him. Because didn't they also speed up the projectile as well and make it easier to hit? And then
Oh,
it's
did
just
they?
like so much happened. I feel like someone said that, but I don't know how to read.
I think,
I think
the,
that was.
Reading's hard.
I know.
I think the lead balance dev said it was the fastest projectile in the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe aside from Hanzo Arrow.
Yeah, I remember them
Yeah.
saying that like a couple weeks ago.
Definitely when Mei got buffed, I started thinking, why am I like pulling arrows back as Hanzo and walking this slow when I could be jumping up and down doing like the same
Yeah,
damage?
totally. Okay,
Don't
so
have to worry.
And have a self heal, and have ability to escape with a wall,
you can just never die. As
and
long as you
also
have those
troll
two.
your team by walling off your leaving location too.
If
so.
you had a sonar wall, like a sonar arrow, it's just Hanzo's done for. That's all he's got.
Sonar.
Where's the
What would
sonar
you
wall?
call that?
No,
Some
no, no, no,
ice.
A scatter right click. When it hits something, it scatters.
Oh
There you
god,
go.
ice
Like
shards
icicle.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
exactly.
be amazing. Okay, Symmetra, teleporter, ultimate charge costs increased by 30%. Generally, I think that's
Hands down.
I don't know if this is the right change, but definitely the teleporter was happening just constantly.
You could get it in like 2 shots.
Yeah,
if you,
it's kind of crazy.
if you hit 2, you were pretty much there.
Mm-hmm.
And she has the fastest passive gain. I don't know if it was an
Fastest
issue.
passive gain? What now?
Yeah, like passively she gains percent quicker.
Oh,
than
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
else.
yeah. Yeah, gotcha. Mhm.
Yeah. They brought down her the amount of ultimate charge she needed before as well, so it was taking her like a really short amount of time to build up ultimate.
Yeah.
So
Thing
this kind of brought her back to a normal ultimate spot.
What I don't like about Symmetra, and I think Minstrel might have something different to say about it, is that like she's useless bar one thing. Her teleporter, well, 2 things. One, your
Well-
teleporter if you can get it up and keep it up in the first point, and the second is the health you give.
Yeah,
Like
shield's
that's
huge.
what makes this whole that's what makes the whole comp possible right now. The 50 extra health you give to Genji and Tracer, well, plus the Zenyatta's, but I'm sure we'll get to that. I feel like one good change I'd love to see in Symmetra is what you see with Torbjorn, where the armor pack you give when they take damage past that, it disappears. So why not make it so? Yes, you can keep giving out, shields, but you have to be so aware of your team. You act more of a support and more of a utility than just sitting there spamming right click the entire time, which occasionally hits, So
Right.
like make it so she actually has to do more. And if you hit that Genji in your back line, well, he's down 50 HP until he gets back to his support again.
Right. Minstrel, what do you think?
I mean, she's gotten like 8 buffs since the start of beta.
Because nobody
and this is,
played
like,
her.
The first nerf.
That's
Yeah,
right,
well,
Melty was
But
like the
they
only
still
one I ever
cited
saw.
her at BlizzCon. They said she had the highest win rate. And
I,
she still
that's
got-
right. I totally forgot about
Wow.
that. That
yeah,
was
but in,
shocking.
Like, when it's the win rate in like garbage tier pub,
Yeah.
it doesn't have much to do with
Hey,
competitive.
don't hate
It's
on
still
that, all right? That's what
surprising,
I'm
though.
Well-
Even garbage tier pubs is surprising.
Garbage tier pubs is like 90% of all games.
True.
Someone has to
That's,
look out for them.
Probably shouldn't balance for that at the top competitive level though.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna bring up a huge debate. You gotta balance for both, right? That's the
No, you
challenge.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't balance for the competitive level. That's not fair. Like the percent of people
Yeah.
who are playing at that level versus overall is like, why would you balance
Like
for
1%. I mean,
5-10% max? Yeah, 1% would be more likely versus another 90% that who play the game. You can't. It's just good to see people break the characters though by playing at such a high level.
right.
But Symmetra is actually more effective in one-on-one combat than Lucio now with the changes, because you don't have to aim, and
Yeah. It's the
her
auto.
beam does 120 DPS.
It's so
Okay,
good,
no
man.
aim.
Her beam. Oh, it's ridiculous. I remember people were complaining about Winston, but man, Symmetra's beam is way worse in my
I
opinion.
just like speed booster after like Genjis and stuff half the time.
Oh,
You're the
really?
person I hate in pubs.
Oh my gosh,
You're
that's
that
awesome.
person.
Yeah, Minstrel's. Those you don't know, Minstrel's one
But,
of
like,
the best Lucio
Minstrel, what's your
players
thought,
for sure.
On like the shield thing, because Torbjorn, his armor disappears off the first one to take 75 damage from it, and then the shield you regen it back. But what about make it so you can't? So the assassins who go in the back
Just
line
to
have to come back and
reapply
get a
it.
shield again. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be a good change. And there's also the idea of just removing all shields when Symmetra dies,
Yeah, I think that's
True.
the good
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I like that one
or
the
making
most.
it like
actually.
an aura.
Yeah, make it so that there is a reason to kill her like early on versus just ignoring her and trying to kill everybody and then killing her, either last or second to last. That type of thing.
Well, that's what you do to counter the current meta, right? You kill the Zenyatta's and then you're good.
Right,
'Cause they don't
exactly.
have the Discords or the Healing Orbs.
So killing Symmetra would be consistent with that, and that would make
Okay.
sense for sure.
I'd be happy.
You'd be happy.
For low level, it's kind of weird where it's just like I hate running into like the random pub comp of just there's a Torbjorn and Symmetra on defense, and
Yeah.
it feels like every 1v1 you're down by about 100 health.
Mm-hmm.
75 plus 50. I think that's like 300, right?
Oh my
It's
god,
really
math.
hard.
Reading
It's just-
Math
math.
is hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
consider for a second that's 75 of its armor, which is that's about 3,000 health.
Jesus Christ.
I'm learning how to do math.
Okay.
That's a pain in the butt. It would be nice if you could kill the Symmetra and like feel like you did something, because no
Yeah.
matter where Symmetra is on the map, no matter what she's doing, she's helping 5 people.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I
that's
just
something
I-
that's pretty hard to do.
I just don't want them to change Symmetra too much though, because like her as a utility, it's actually kind of nice seeing her in games and her being such a utility character, not just straight up healer and that sort of thing.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
nobody plays Symmetra right now because she's boring.
I mean,
Imagine if
everybody
you had
play-
to
what do you mean?
try.
Everybody's playing. Well, at least the top meta. But I actually,
I mean, like it's just like you just bought Overwatch.
yeah.
Your first character is Symmetra, is what I'm saying.
Of course, it's
No
not.
one-
It's not.
No
gonna
one
be.
actually plays Symmetra.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But I see a lot
Like,
of Symmetra in lower level
If
games too.
Symmetra dying took away all her shields, you'd have to play 30 times more boring. Because you would never want to go die. And half the fun on Symmetra is trying to go die on somebody.
Really? I don't see it that way.
Well, you run it up with the laser beam.
I know, but I'm not trying. I mean,
probably
I'm
gonna
just
die.
setting turrets everywhere, and trying to get my teammates teleporters and just
She's
But
a weird
spam.
that's
character.
unrewarding play though. Just put a turret
Yeah.
down. It's really
What
unrewarding.
do you-
And
setting up a trap,
can't change
that
it.
can be fun. I mean,
yeah,
it just depends on the type
trap
of
that a
person.
Winston walks into, holds W, left clicks, like, hey, what nest?
Or
What
if Fair just
turret nest?
spams rockets in there and kills it.
But you can't take that factor away from her because that's a defining trait of her, right? So what do you do to make them more viable?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge, but
I say
I'm just saying it's nice
make
to
it so
see
you
her.
can choose. You have two turrets, a damage turret and like a recon turret. It's like a sonic arrow. Put it down and you can see through walls with it, so you can see when they're coming.
Okay.
But anyways, that's just a stupid idea.
That's interesting. All right, next up, Winston. Cooldown reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds for his jump. Ever since the big nerf to him in the shield, I feel like Winston's been just brutalized. I mean, he's still been played some, but not nearly as much, and he's just felt so weak, or it's been tough to initiate with him.
His
so
shield shouldn't have got 600 health and a longer cooldown in the same patch.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Like the double tap just destroyed him.
And then there's also
and the jump
shift.
pack, like who cares? The shield was the thing that made Winston a tank.
The jump pack's cool though.
Run at people.
I think the jump pack it allows him at least to get away now and not just like literally engage and die. Like he's been doing in probably lower level games. I don't know, Minstrel. What are your thoughts?
I mean, right after he got the 2 nerfs to his shield, we had the shift to the whole Zenyatta spam meta, and so Discord just destroys tanks. So Zenyatta, you can 1v1 Winston a lot of the time, and so can Symmetra, and then obviously you'll never catch Tracer. So it's like every single character being run destroys Winston one-on-one, aside from Lucio.
Yeah, with or without this jump cooldown actually right now. So it's not gonna fix what's going on with the meta and put Winston back into it, but I think generally though it's good. He needs to be able to get away a little bit better now if they're not going to help him with his shield. Okay, next up, Zarya particle cannon. Increase the minimum damage to 25%.
Why?
Yeah, I didn't even know there was an issue with Zarya. I didn't think there was. I thought she was pretty decent. I mean, she's not being played that much in the current meta, but
If you're playing badly and you can't get people to shoot your shields, and you just can't do it, they made her better for you, I guess.
Well, she
then
was
why are you
pretty
playing her?
useless and competitive previously because her 0 charge, if you have like 100% accuracy, is 70 damage a second, which is pretty much the lowest in the game. So it's like, unless you can just run into spam and build charge, you're completely useless. And then if you die, you're useless again until you can build some more charge. She was just terrible. Her minimum damage was way too low.
we're talking Zarya then, Jason.
I got that.
yeah, I'm just making sure. Yeah, so you think
such a punk?
you think this
I'm
is
a
gonna
punk?
help?
Oh, Zarya's a punk.
Oh, I thought you said Star is a
I
punk.
thought you said Star was a punk
What
too.
did I say?
I mean that too.
Obviously. 25% isn't even that much anyway. So
No,
it's not like,
it's not.
whoa, like 25% of almost nothing is who cared. But I don't think she needed it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad that she has it. But, like, I hate Zarya.
She's
a
so
lot.
annoying to play against.
I have prejudice.
I agree with that. Like, she's like good for her. Okay, before she was good for more than just her ult because it allowed like a Tracer, a Genji, or a Pharah to get off, or a Pharah at least to get off a full ultimate with her shield. But now the cooldown on that, or the time it stays on the person, is like 2 seconds, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
really
it's
hard.
really short. No.
It's really hard to absorb damage from that and or protect someone to a certain extent. But I guess she's the things you can't even say she's a damage dealer tank because that's Roadhog. But she's also like a longevity tank because her shield will always regen. She doesn't rely on a support as much as like a Reinhardt does.
I think you're looking at it from the perspective of, again, like high end comps, and no one's running
True.
like Roadhog.
Hmm.
She's really good for saving people from a Roadhog and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff that you're just not seeing yet.
Mhm.
So she's still good. She's definitely like amazing in pubs because of all the like. Junkrat tire is a problem. You just shield somebody. You can
Yeah.
plan these things out.
I love
She
Zarya
has her
because
spot.
it's super rewarding to play her for a good ultimate, but it's also super rewarding to shield someone right as something's about to hit them, like a charge for a Reinhardt
Yeah.
or something. It's really rewarding, but at a high level play, she's just not really able to be used, at least at the moment.
I
I
think
think if
she's.
someone really tried, I think they could do well with her in competitive.
I think
How-
she's usable ish now. When they changed the shield from like 4 seconds to 2 seconds, I think she was pretty much garbage at that moment. But the problem is like the 4 second shield, you got like a speed boosted ulting Genji who you can't shoot for 4 seconds, or like an
Yeah.
ulting Pharah, and there's
True.
like no real counter.
Yeah, that's pretty broken. Ulted Genji. Just I guess generally Genji ulting is not dying too often anyways, but
The thing is, Minstrel,
um,
what do you think about Zarya? Because I feel like she gets not exponentially, but she gets stronger when you have a second Zarya on the team. Just the fact that you can
Yeah,
shield
the
each other
Mhm.
and
stacking
then shield
shields
yourself.
are
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
annoying.
You
It's like
you can't not shoot them at that point. You have to just
Yeah.
be like, well, I guess they're gonna have their charge.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's the new cheese meta. It's like triple
Well, I've heard about
Triple
it.
double
Zarya.
Lucio.
yeah.
I've
Triple-
heard about a
that
comp
could be
where you
cool.
run double Zarya and a soldier on the payload, and then a Genji and Tracer can't kill him because of the shields and the healing that you get, and the damage that soldier gives.
Yeah,
Okay, I
might be
could see.
good.
Might be good. Yeah.
New
See,
envious
there's
strat
just
here. You heard it, boys.
see that's the
Yeah.
thing. So it just takes more. Sometimes it just takes more experimentation and that sort of thing to try to figure
Three
out.
soldiers.
metas.
Yeah,
and a
you know the
hub,
big
though.
deal about Zarya is that she removes Discord Orb. That really is the big utility now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
change
Silence.
made
Silence,
no
yeah.
difference at all.
Yeah,
Infinite
exactly, right.
cooldown.
All right, so Zenyatta, this is the one that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, basically the Discord orb is removed by a lot of the freezing effects, right, and including Zenyatta's Transcendence. So, I don't know. This is like their attempt at trying to nerf the Discord orb, but for me, it's just like, okay, you nerf the Discord orb by playing Zenyatta against Zenyatta. It's like, okay, that's not going to change like a lot of these compositions. And plus, like, if you have to use my Harmony orb or my Transcendence to like possibly get rid of the Discord orb, then that's just, I mean, nobody's going to actually do that. Like nobody's going to actually waste their ult on doing something like that. So this
It
change,
doesn't even cleanse people in Transcendence. It's just Zenyatta himself,
yeah.
not his teammates.
Of all things to choose for a Discord orb nerf, this is like not even close to anything I would have chosen going into this patch. So this was odd. Like, what thoughts on this? Just maybe like
I mean, why
how
not?
they came in.
Like, Reaper can get rid of the Discord, and Tracer can, and they were such weird one-off things that, like, I mean, why not give this to these people? I think they're being really gentle with rebalancing.
Zen.
Zenyatta. You'll probably see some changes with him on the next patch, but I don't think they're going to be like extreme changes because just the core of what Zenyatta is, a damage-dealing support tank killer, is just really good.
I think the problem that isn't a solution to the inherent problem with Discord is being able to remove it. I think the problem is that you can have it on someone permanently if they run away,
Yep.
and if they have to run back to a Zarya or something like that. Also, that it lasts the entire time. Like, I've been talking to a couple of players, and there's like two changes that some people would like to see. Either one, it disappears after a certain amount of time,
Yep, we talked
or
about it last
two.
week. Hmm.
or two is the damage debuff or the damage buff, whatever you want to call it, that they get. It changes over time. So like the first 2 seconds, it does 50%. The next two, it's down to 40. Next two down to 30. Next two down to 20, and so on. It's like stays 20%. So they're not as easy to kill, but at the same time, the vision it gives you and your team, like, yeah, your team can't see it, but a good team will say, hey, Genji's behind us still, is a little unfair to someone trying to be an assassin in the back line.
It's a wall hack. I mean, it's like, and it's not necessary.
yeah.
It's like kind of ridiculous. that
He
it is.
already has so much utility, he doesn't need that.
Right.
And it makes it so much easier for him to like one-shot, headshot people around a corner because he doesn't even have footsteps, so you don't know when Zenyatta's going to like turn the corner and pop you once.
I think both of those
But he
are good.
does.
Like we definitely talked about just the reapplying of it being a good solution last week. The deterioration, I guess, of the buff is a good idea, but I don't like that one so much because there's no way to indicate like at what point is the buff at. This actual damage, like what the damage is at, right? So
The
it's
problem I had with
hard
that
with
is
that.
that it forces a Zenyatta to play super aggressive. It's like, I mean, it's kind of nice because you could be like, as a Zenyatta the caller, all right, Roadhog's orbs, kill him. Reinhardt's orbs, whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is you have to be so close to hit the right target and to make the call. When otherwise you can just orb the Genji and just watch where he goes. It stays in the back behind and tells your team, all right, he's not near us. We're fine for now. I don't know. It changes the whole style of playing him, which he doesn't have the health to be that aggressive support necessarily, like Lucio can, because he's really fast and he can heal himself really easily.
It's just tough because Discord, this type of, debuffing it's really powerful. You know what I mean? Like they have to
It's
be
the only one in the game.
I know, and it's like you can make an argument of just taking it out, period, which I could understand that too. But if they're gonna keep it in here, yeah, like Zenyatta's gonna have to be squishy. He's gonna have to die easily, and that's gonna be the risk. I mean, that's what
to go back. It's Symmetra who's like ruining it.
Yeah, and it's a combination of these things, right? And having to balance this or design it, it's definitely tough for them right now to try to figure out what the right thing to do is. But I think they should at least go with one iteration of trying to have it, just kind of reapplying it and see how it goes. Because I know what you're saying, Jason. They have to be more aggressive, but at the same time, it's just like it just forces Zenyatta to be even better, right? Like Zenyatta play just has to be even more skillful, which it'd be nice to see.
It's not skillful to put your Orb of Harmony on someone and then just sit and spawn. Like that's also the problem with him is in the current meta is
right.
Put
So
an Orb on someone and not worry about it.
That's right.
But
so if they had to reapply it, they have to
fix that as well.
Well, I mean, I think they could keep it that way if they have to keep reapplying it. So they have to position better. Like Zenyatta has to be accessible to even for the Harmony Orb too. So both of them need to be reapplied.
I don't think that will ever get changed. That you have to reapply Harmony.
Well, the change I talked to someone about, one of the players, he was saying he likes the idea of making it so either A, once you're fully healed from it, then it disappears, or B, it heals you. I think he was saying something like, in the beginning it heals you for like 50 health per second, and it slowly dwindles, like the Discord damage dwindles, like it slowly goes down to a lower like 15 health per second. So it's not as effective if you leave it on someone for a long time. But then again, you can't have those assassins playing like that with only 15 health per second or whatever. I don't know. Minstrel might have something to say about that.
I think like Zenyatta could use a complete redesign.
Wow, just say from fuck
just screw
everything.
all the abilities. Let's just do something totally different.
Well, I mean, Discord is obviously takes no skill to use, gives you a wall hack, and it's massively reduces survivability. Harmony Orb, I think it's kind of lame. It's just on them forever. It's like flankers, their weakness is that they have to disengage and heal back up. But with Harmony Orb on Tracer and Symmetra shields, they're just like in your face 24/7. They don't have to run away. So it's like not fun to play on the supports. It's basically Battlefield supports can survive the Tracers longer.
Yeah, that sums up the metagame right now. But yeah, I'm expecting at least some change to Zenyatta this coming week. Usually like right after this show, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like tomorrow or something like that. But I don't know. A lot of people are in Irvine right now, so maybe they'll hold off until just all that stuff's over with. But okay, well that's the